Today I'm going to tell you about 5 options for filters that you should think about using on your first saltwater aquarium. And the good news is you only need the top 2 on this list to run a successful reef tank. If it's your first time here, I put out a video every week with tips on how to set up and maintain an awesome reef tank. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on anything. Right, let's get stuck in. First up is an automatic filter roller. Tanks like Red Sea Reefers come with built-in filter socks as the first stage of filtration. They catch uneaten food and help remove detritus that heads down to your sump. But filter socks are a total pain in the backside to maintain, as they clog very quickly and need cleaning in a washing machine. And if you don't change them all the time, the food they trap will just decay in your water, which defeats the object of filtration. An automatic filter roller though turns regularly throughout the day, which means the uneaten food gets removed instantly before it can break down and pollute your tank, so they are far more effective than socks. It will help with nitrates and to a lesser extent phosphates, but as a Brucey bonus it should also improve your water clarity. They are expensive though, with the most popular option being the Clarity, which starts at £250. You can achieve a similar effect using filter floss in plastic cups instead of using filter socks. Then just throw away the dirty floss every few days. But if you have the budget, an auto filter roller will not only reduce your nitrates, but it will also save you maintenance, which is always money well spent. Next on my top 5 aquarium filters is an algae refugium. The theory behind growing macroalgae like Chaeto in your sump is that it will use up all the nutrients that nuisance algae would otherwise use to grow in your display tank. Now of course life isn't that easy, and a refugium alone won't stop nuisance algae growing in your display tank, but it will help reduce nitrates. And the Brucey bonus with a refugium is that they are excellent places for microfauna like copepods and amphipods to grow. Pods are not only a fantastic and important part of your cleanup crew, but also a delicious snack for your fish. Now from what I've seen, it is theoretically possible for a refugium to control phosphate in your tank on its own, but that's not realistic in 90% of tanks, so you should think of it as nitrate control and a place for your pods to grow more than anything else. All you need to set up a refugium is a section in your sump, some Chaeto algae and a light. Purple grow lights like this waterproof Tunsy are excellent, and you can get cheaper alternatives from Amazon that will also do a sterling job. And there are plenty of positive reviews on Amazon, presumably from small-time marijuana farmers. You should set the refugium light to turn on at night when your display tank lights turn off, and turn off in the morning when your display tank lights come on. Doing so will help keep your pH nice and stable, which will help coral growth. Onto the podium then, and we have the first filter for something other than nitrate and phosphate. And activated carbon will be familiar to those of you who've kept freshwater tanks. The main benefit of activated carbon is that it removes tannins from your water that can give your tank a nasty yellow look. When used properly, you will be astonished at how crystal clear your water gets with activated carbon. The difference is night and day, and you'll notice the effect within a matter of hours. It can also remove nasty odours from your tank, as well as toxins released by your corals. Soft corals in particular release toxins into the water column, which can harm other corals. So if you intend to keep things like toadstools and leather corals, it is well worth running activated carbon. The easiest way to run carbon is to put a small amount in a filter bag and leave it somewhere in your sump. Make sure you rinse it with RO water first, as it's pretty dusty stuff. And using too much can be harmful to your fish, so just change out a small amount once a month and you'll be fine. Number 2 on my top 5 aquarium filters is GFO. While most aquarium filters will primarily control nitrates, Rowaphos and other brands of GFO is the single most effective way to remove phosphate from your aquarium. With most tanks, while you don't want nitrate to get out of control, you certainly don't want it to be 0, and anything between around 5 parts per million and 25 parts per million is absolutely fine. Phosphate on the other hand is far more important to keep at low levels. As with nitrate you don't want 0 phosphates, but anything around 0.03 to 0.06 is ideal. And the best way to achieve that is to test every week or so and change your Rowaphos roughly once a month, or when your phosphate gets too high. As with activated carbon, you can just plonk a bit of Rowaphos in a filter bag and place it in your sump, but it is far more effective to have it tumbling gently in a phosphate reactor. And given that phosphate is likely to be the cause of any nuisance algae in your tank, a reactor is well worth the effort and expense. And the number one aquarium filter is a protein skimmer. Protein skimmers work by mixing air with your aquarium water to create thousands of tiny bubbles. Those bubbles then pick out gunk from your water and push it into the skimmer cup so you can remove it. The most compelling argument for why you should get a skimmer is the disgusting mess it pulls out. I don't know what the inside of a sewer smells like, but I'm guessing it's similar to the inside of a skimmer cup. And it doesn't take a marine biologist to see that your tank is better off without this chocolate soup floating around in your water. Skimmers also oxygenate your water, which your fish and corals will appreciate, and a decent skimmer combined with a Rowaphos reactor can be the only filtration you need. The skimmer will take care of nitrates and the Rowaphos will take care of phosphates. To prove the point, this display tank at my local fish shop, Reef Dreams in Winchester, relies almost exclusively on a skimmer and a Rowaphos reactor to control nitrate and phosphate. And while I've presented 5 options to you today, the real point of this video is to show you how simple filtration in a reef tank can be. And while this particular tank is of course helped by the skill of an experienced aquarist, it shows you that, when you're starting out in the hobby, all you need in your sump is a skimmer and a phosphate reactor. So those are my top 5 filters you should think about for your first saltwater aquarium. There were a couple of others that missed out just about. In particular, you might also want to think about a UV sterilizer, which can help reduce parasites in your tank and can help combat algae. If you enjoyed the video then, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for next week. And until next time, happy reefing.